In the vast, silent reaches of the Indian Ocean, a deadly game of hide-and-seek is unfolding beneath the waves. A Los Angeles-class American nuclear submarine cruises at 400 feet, a silent predator shrouded in near-total darkness. In the belly of the beast, sonar technicians watch the waterfall displays, searching for the faint acoustic signature of their prey. 7 miles away, the Iranian frigate Dina zigzags across the surface, its engines churning the sea into a white froth. The Dina's active sonar dome pulses, sending ripples of sound through the water column, searching for the American intruder. On the bridge, the Dina's captain stares into the horizon. He knows the Americans are here. He can feel them. Back on the submarine, the sonar technician adjusts his dials, trying to maintain a lock on the shifting Iranian target. Target motion analysis is a complex dance of math and intuition. One wrong calculation and the contact is lost. The technician's face tightens as the lines scatter. He resets his data, his eyes never leaving the green glow. The Iranians are skilled. During recent exercises like Milan 2026, they demonstrated aggressive tactics to break any tracking solution. The Dina performs radical maneuvers, turning sharply left and right to confuse the submarine's passive sensors. On the Dina's aft deck, an SH-3 Sea King helicopter sits ready. Its presence is a constant threat to the submarine below. The Sea King launches, its rotors beating the air as it heads toward the submarine's suspected position. It lowers a dipping sonar sensor into the ocean, a high-tech lure designed to find the silent hunter. Below, the American crew remains frozen, listening for the whine of helicopter rotors or the mechanical click of the sensor. The ocean is a prism. The thermocline layer bends sound, creating shadows where a submarine can hide from the surface. Dina's pings hit this thermal boundary and refract away, leaving the Los Angeles-class submarine safely in the acoustic shadow. But the layer is not permanent. As the morning sun warms the waters, this hole in the ocean begins to evaporate. Strategic awareness depends on convergence zones, vast arcs where sound travels. 4 miles before rising back to the surface, the crew drops bathythermographs to measure the changing temperature. The data is clear, the advantage is slipping away. The sonar chief looks at the mission clock. They have maybe 6 hours before they become visible to the Dina's sensors. Time is running out. The layer is weakening, and the Dina is approaching the territorial waters of Sri Lanka. The tactical window is closing. A decision must be made before the submarine is cornered or forced to retreat. Suddenly, a faint, extremely low-frequency signal arrives at command from home. The submarine must rise to periscope depth. Rising means leaving the safety of the thermal layer. The submarine angles upward, its hull groaning under the pressure change. On the surface, the Dina's radar sweeps the waves. It is searching for even the smallest protrusion above the waterline. The submarine needs cover. A massive South Korean LNG tanker, weighing 200,000 tons, looms on the horizon. The submarine maneuvers precisely, positioning its periscope in the massive acoustic and radar shadow of the tanker. An Iranian radar operator sees a tiny blip, but it's lost in the massive return of the tanker and dismissed as sea clutter. The message is received. The predator dives back into the abyss, once again a ghost in the machine. At 4:48, the geometry becomes perfect. The officer of the deck calls for ascent. The sub rises through the thermocline flow. Noise grows along the hull and the sonar picture degrades with surface ambient noise. 3 days of invisibility are being traded for a few seconds. The mast breaks the surface. Satellite link locks. Message traffic streams in, authorization confirmed, and the sub immediately dives back down. The thermocline closes over them like a door. Now time and geography are squeezing them. At 0451, Dina is running 20 nautical miles offshore, parallel to Sri Lanka. The 12-mile territorial line is only 8 miles north. If the Iranian captain gets nervous and turns toward the coast, the shot is gone. Behind the submarine, another constraint, the towed array, hundreds of feet of sensor cable, the boat's best ear. But once a torpedo launches, if the sub has to maneuver hard, the array becomes a leash. Aggressive turns can tangle or snap it. At 0453, the fire control team finally locks the solution. The weapons officer programs the Mark 48 ADCAP Tube 1 ready. The captain gives the order. And now comes the loudest moment inside an ocean where Dina is waiting for that exact sound. The torpedo tube floods. Seawater rushes in to equalize. A sharp acoustic transient trained sonar operators can recognize it instantly. The Mark 48 drops from the tube, 21 inches in diameter, 3,500 pounds, auto-fueled to a monopropellant that carries its own oxidizer, pump jet propulsion, reduced cavitation, no white line on the surface. The Mark 48 doesn't point back to the shooter, only sound. A hair-thin wire spools behind a torpedo, connected back to the console. Through that wire the operator can steer around obstacles. Imagine driving a car from 7 miles away while blindfolded, holding a thread attached to the steering wheel. The submarine must remain frozen. Hard turns, depth changes, anything that stresses the wire is forbidden. The boat is locked on course. At transit speed, the torpedo is effectively deaf. Flow noise can drown its own sonar. The operator guides it blind at first. At 4 miles, the continental shelf gradient off Sri Lanka tightens. Too shallow and the weapon can broach. Too deep and runtime increases. At 3 miles, Dina pings again. The active sonar pulse expands through the water like a searchlight sweeping a burglar. At 2 miles, the Mark 48 slows. Flow noise drops. The seeker wakes up. The onboard sonar starts active high-frequency pinging. Lock happens almost instantly. Terminal acquisition. The weapon accelerates for the final run, and now Dina hears it. In the sonar room, an operator catches the sound. Active pinging, closing fast, bearing consistent. The alarm is hit. From this moment to impact 15 seconds. Only 15 seconds. The operator can override the torpedo's brain and manually steer it around the noise strait onto reel hole. In the final moment, the Mark 48 doesn't need a direct hit. It passes under the keel and detonates. The explosion creates a gas bubble that expands up with enough force to lift the stern out of the ocean. For a fraction of a second, the ship hangs. Then the bubble collapses. The stern falls. The keel snaps. 508 local time. When rescue boats reach the coordinates, there's only an oil slick, debris, and life rafts, and the submarine. It's already gone. Slipped back beneath the thermocline, the ocean closes over as if nothing ever happened. If you enjoyed this story, watch our next video on the opening day of Operation Epic Fury. Bye for now.